Some choices carve wounds so deep they never fade, and I am living proof of that truth. My name is Isabel. I'm 32, and for weeks now I've been haunted by a single question that steals my sleep. What do you do when the person you hurt most pretends you no longer exist? I never imagined I would become the woman who threw away the best part of her life for something so meaningless. Yet here I am, sitting alone in a rundown studio apartment, wrapped in silence, with only regret echoing around me. 6 years ago, everything looked different. That was when I met Nathan. Being with him felt natural, as though the universe had aligned just for us. Within months, we were living together. By our second year, we had purchased a small, cozy home in a quiet neighborhood. To everyone else, we looked like the perfect couple. For a long time, I believed it too. Nathan was steady, kind, and endlessly thoughtful. He brought me coffee just the way I liked it, rubbed my tired feet after long days, and never mocked my obsession with trashy reality shows. With him, I felt secure, cherished, and grounded. But comfort slowly turned into monotony. 4 years in, our lives fell into a predictable cycle: work, dinner, television, sleep, repeat. The spark that once felt unstoppable had dimmed. Nathan texted less, stayed out later, and when he was home, his eyes no longer lingered on me the way they once did. Instead of talking to him honestly, I let outside voices creep in. My friend Kira whispered during our nights out that I was too young to settle for dull routine. Lana, who treated relationships like interchangeable outfits, insisted that if Nathan wasn't making me feel desired, someone else would. And then, someone else did. Dylan arrived at my office like a storm in a tailored suit. He carried a confident charm, a smile that drew people in, and a way of making me feel like I was the only person who mattered. At first, it was harmless, casual jokes, small talk. Then came the texts. They began about work but soon drifted into music, weekend plans, and personal stories I hadn't shared with Nathan in years. Dylan listened. He laughed. He noticed me. Deep down, I craved that attention. I wanted to feel wanted again. It built until one evening, after a work happy hour, when we kissed in his car. I went home sick with guilt, but also strangely awake, as though I'd been shaken out of a long slumber. What started as guilt became easier to justify each time I lingered at the office or drank wine with Dylan instead of heading home. Nathan was distant, I told myself. Nathan had stopped trying. And then I crossed a line I could never undo. One evening, when Nathan said he'd be working late, I invited Dylan into our house, into our bedroom, the very place where Nathan had once promised me forever. What happened that night wasn't love. It was selfishness dressed up as excitement, my fragile ego wrapped in dim light and red wine. A part of me even wanted Nathan to discover it, as though that would force him to see how broken we had become and fight for me. But he didn't fight. He walked away. That night, Nathan came home earlier than expected. Dylan had already gone. I scrambled to erase the evidence, wiping glasses, straightening pillows, when Nathan's eyes met mine. I kissed him, pretending everything was fine, but he pulled away. He barely spoke, touched no food, and slept in the guest room. By morning, it was over. He sat at the kitchen table, eyes fixed on his coffee mug, and told me he wanted to end things. No shouting, no accusations, just a final hollow decision. I begged him to explain, but he didn't need to. He already knew. Later, when he returned to collect his belongings, I stayed, even though he'd asked me not to. I needed to hear it spoken out loud. And he gave me the truth. He had seen me with Dylan in our bed. My mouth went dry, words failed, and his eyes no longer carried love. That wasn't a mistake, he said. That was betrayal. I pleaded for another chance, suggested therapy, apologized until my throat burned. He shook his head. You didn't talk to me when you were unhappy, he said. You just replaced me. And I'm done. Then he left. 6 years of our life together ended in minutes, leaving me with guilt, shame, and the ruins of what I had destroyed with my own hands. Dylan tried to stay in the picture, calling, texting, hoping for something real, as if we were fated lovers. But I couldn't even stand the sound of his name. I blocked him. Even Kira, who once urged me to chase excitement, looked horrified when I confessed I had brought Dylan into the home Nathan and I had built. I stayed with her for a few weeks before moving into this cramped apartment with peeling walls and rent I could barely cover. I found a new job, less pay, but no one there knew my past. Nathan, on the other hand, is thriving. I heard he earned a promotion. He's seeing someone new, a woman who, judging by the little I've seen, is everything I wasn't. She looks at him with admiration I threw away. Sometimes my hand hovers over my phone, ready to type one more apology, one last plea. But I never press send. Because Nathan was right, he owes me nothing. Not forgiveness, not closure. I lost him. I lost our home. I lost the future we might have built. And I lost it all for the fleeting illusion of being wanted by someone who never truly knew me. The hardest part isn't the loneliness. It's the certainty that I chose this path, and I have no one to blame but myself.